curriculum and extracurricular activities, they have interpersonal relationships and school governance, like school rules. And then we have an area where usually school-wide, they include a comprehensive school reform and more specifically, the basic efforts of service learning, life skills, conflict resolution, violence prevention, which also includes anti-bullying type efforts in schools, and also education and prevention of drugs. And then we know that in the past they've included things like sex education as far as the history courses were concerned. And I talked a little bit about that on my last show with the sex education during the era in which I work with the Waits and the Ames program. That was the government's attempt to implement a counterculture to the sex education that was being placed in the schools at that particular time. So they thought that abstinence education would be a better way to implement those things. And so I was very actively involved in abstinence education. And so I want to elaborate on that abstinence education. And I know that when we think about abstinence, we can abstain from a lot of different things. We can abstain from drugs or violence and all those things. But in that particular context, when I work with those programs, it was primarily sex education. And so they were abstaining from sexual activity until marriage. And so that was kind of like the pledge, like the purity pledge that they have now. So also with that, they talk about in schools now, education works on civic virtue and social responsibility and having good morals and reasoning. And then, of course, relevance to the multicultural education and how we teach that in social justice and ethics and environment and technology. And then there are the schools that also are religious schools that have religious education. So we have a lot of things that teachers and administrators have to actually incorporate within the day. So I want to hear from my listeners, kind of what do you think about, schools having to implement all of these things within the core curriculum in addition to teaching the basic subjects? Do you think that this is something that our current educational structure is built for? What things need to be actually changed as far as our educational reform system, and kind of where do you feel like we might be doing things correctly? And where you think doing things incorrectly, or things that we can change in order to make education a better system for our students. And so we want to think about, what does the research say? I know that the research out there, it can be found as far as the character education is concerned. And so if you're wondering kind of where some of this data can be found, you can go to the reform movements of the 1800s, the Journal for Character Education. Of course, our Encyclopedia Britannica is also accessible, and then the Center for Education Reform. And also the New Heights Educational Group has out there for parents who are considering homeschooling their students or participating in some type of unschooling population. And that's one of the great things that I love about the New Heights Educational Group, is that the resources that are out there and the course curriculums that are out there are services and resources that are designed to kind of assist parents who have decided that maybe the public school setting is not necessarily for them, but they need to have additional resources to be able to provide the courses that they want to provide to their children at home. So they actually have, if you're in Defiance, Ohio, you can actually go by and actually take advantage of those resources hands-on, in-house, or you can actually access on the website, so virtually. So you have the opportunity to explore education in a lot of different ways. And so with the New Heights Educational Group, there are different courses that you can use to augment your homeschooling experience and your unschooling experience. And I just want to thank our listeners out there for listening to our show today. And I hope that you have gained additional information regarding education and education reform. And again, remember, my grandparents only went to school up to maybe like the 6th grade. And so I know that there are a lot of listeners out there who have a similar background, or you may have come from a family where you are second or third generation college student and you have the educational background, and you may can offer us a different perspective on education. But we have a lot of people who think that maybe our education system is broken, and we need a lot of input as to how can we make the school system better for our students. So I want to thank you for listening. And again, please join us here on the New Heights Educational Group. On next week, our topic will be the IEP process. So I want all of you all to join me. And as I learn more, hopefully I can educate. And we will be looking at the Department of Education's outline for the IEP process and what all goes into the IEP process and the steps that you go through in order to set your children up for that program if that is something that they're in need of. So again, I'd like to thank you for listening. I'm your host, Buffie Williams, and until next time. You can also follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn at Buffie Williams, and on Instagram at Buffie_Williams, and Twitter at Buffie_Awaken.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the New Heights Show on Education. This show was written and expressed by Buffie Williams. Audio and mixing was produced by Jamal Banks. Thank you for listening. Good night. Until we meet again on the New Heights Show on Education.
Here are your announcements for the month of December. Happy birthday to the following people: Priya Kedharnath, Heather Ruggiero on December 3rd, Geetha Lingasamy on December 4th, Lindsay Clark December 5th, Roberta Perkins on December 19th, Erica Hansen on December 20th, Tanushri Tawari on December 25th, and happy anniversary to Michelle Shockey and Shannon Williamson on December 17th. Other exciting updates from the New Heights Educational Group includes the following. And please don't forget to donate to the New Heights Educational Group this holiday season. You can also visit our website and click on Amazon Smile when shopping on Amazon. That way NHEG receives a portion of the sales. A thought for you is also, we have had over 327,000 listeners for our radio show. If each of those people donated $1, that would help New Heights Educational Group tremendously with reaching those that need services. The New Heights Educational Group will be launching a new site for their New Heights Show on Education very soon. It has never been easier to listen to our shows. Check them out now. The new site is brought to you by Silicon Valley High School. You can also visit our discounted and free online courses to view the newly added courses for us and Silicon Valley High School. Anyone at any age can earn their diploma through Silicon Valley High School. You will really want to check out their $95 courses. We also want to announce a new partnership with Buffie Williams, who's also a host of one of our shows. Her books can be found on our recommended books page on the Learning Annex, and you will also see her books added to some of our curriculum, like the genealogy course that's on our site. We want to give a special thank you to Senator Sherrod Brown for his recent recognition. We really appreciate your thoughtful certificate from the United States Senate. Thank you also to Walmart of Defiance and Walmart of Napoleon. They both sent us a check for $500. We couldn't do what we do without support of businesses like Walmart that appreciate our educational efforts. If you like what you hear on our show, please consider sponsoring it. There are only 2 more spots available for sponsors. Everyone here at NHEG wants to wish you and your family a happy and safe holiday season. Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas. See you next month.
Right now, you might be struggling through your classes or even failing them. You might be worried that you may not finish high school. There might have even been a thought that you may not be smart enough. Well, the New Heights Educational Group begs to differ. We not only think you are smart enough, but with our help, you will complete your high school diploma. The New Heights Educational Group strives to improve your academic success through its tutoring services. To learn more, please visit newheightseducation.org and contact us. New Heights Educational Group, educational resources to help reach your goals.
I'm David Smith, founder of Silicon Valley High School, and we're proud to bring you these New Heights Educational Group radio shows because we share the same belief that quality education should be accessible and affordable to everyone, everywhere. We also believe learning should be as entertaining as possible, and here at Silicon Valley High School, we're proud to report that over 96% of students would recommend our video-based, self-paced, teacher-supported online courses to a friend. Learn more about our fully accredited, entirely online high school and our $95 courses today at svhs.co. And I hope you enjoy the show.